Hi everyone, my name is Marcel, and in this presentation we're going to talk about computer science ethics. The subject for this presentation is the action of hiding bugs from softwares. The actor of the action in this case is the developer of the program or the software company behind it. First, there are many reasons why a developer might want to hide bug information from the public. Having bugs on software makes the program seem unprofessional or unfinished. Overall, it projects a bad image of the product. A buggy software is less appealing to potential customers, so for this reason, it makes sense that a developer might want to hide this information to promote a better image of his product. Now, having bugs is a natural part of the process of creating software. The more complex the program is, the more susceptible to bugs it's going to be. Often there are programs which take the same time to develop as it takes to troubleshoot the bugs, and the progress can get really ugly. Some bugs may require to redesign an entire engine or make changes which are really tedious and take really long time to do. For this reason, troubleshooting bugs can delay the delivery date of a software by a lot, which means that there are going to be more expenses. So in this presentation, we're going to ask the question, is it ethical for a software developer to hide bugs from customers? Now, to answer this question, we're going to use the ACM Code of Ethics. The ACM, or Association of Computer Machinery, is the world's largest educational and scientific computer society. It has its own code of ethics and another set of ethical principles that were also approved as a standard for teaching and practicing software engineering. So it shows three items from the code of ethics, which I think are more interesting for this case. The first one is avoid harm to others, and it's defined as follows. Computer systems have an indirect impact on third parties. They can cause a loss of information and resources that might result severely harmful for users, the general public, or employers. Therefore, software developers should minimize the risk of harming others due to coding errors or security issues by following standards to design and test systems. So, by this rule, by this standard, um, does it produce harm? In my opinion, it depends. I don't think it's harm in a meaningful matter, although it depends on the bug. As long as the application does the main function it was created for, I think it's okay, which I think is one assumption of any program that is published. Although, having said that, if, for example, the program is an accounting software and has some failure or something like that caused by a bug, it might harm a company. It may lose some financial information and create problems for this company. So it may be harmful. The second item is to be honest and trustworthy, and it's defined as follows. This principle encourages programmers to be honest and aware of their limitations in knowledge and education when writing computer systems. Also, if a programmer knows there is something wrong with a computer system, he or she should report it immediately to avoid undesirable consequences. So by this principle, I think that indeed hiding bug information to show a better image of the product is not very honest, even in the case that the user doesn't find out of the bugs during the use. The fact that the developer purposely hides this information is not honest. Although it might be difficult to judge, as maybe the developer is not aware of a particular bug, which happens quite often. My point is, if the action is self-aware with the purpose of benefiting from it, then I'll consider it dishonest. Now, the final item principle is manage personal and resources to enhance the quality of working life. Now, for this one, I gave a point to the developer because, as I said before, developing software is a lengthy process, and troubleshooting bugs can take even like more time than developing the software itself. So it makes sense to just polish the software to create profit and try to hide the bugs so it's not shown to the public, and doing this instead of not publishing the software and extending the developing time to ensure that the company can stay alive and pay the salaries to all the teams that are working in this project. So finally, we're going to talk about a similar case study, which is the Occidental Engineer case study, which was written by Michael McFarland. This case study is interesting because it talks about hiding bug information. A summary of the case study is as follows. The Occidental Engineering case study presents the story of Wayne Davidson, a software engineer working for the company Occidental Engineering, who was put in a position of ethical dilemma. The story begins with Occidental Engineering winning a bid for an important contract to develop a prototype software for the next generation air traffic control. Due to the company's aggressive bidding for the contract, the project ended up being underfunded and understaffed. Fast forward a few years, 3 days before the deadline for the project, the company has developed and tested a fully functional prototype. However, it has one issue. When there are too many aircrafts on the system at the same time, occasionally the software will lose track of one craft, leaving it at risk. Wayne, the developer, presents this issue to the boss, which in this case is called Deborah, and asks for another 6 months to fix this issue. But Deborah expresses intentions of releasing the software right now to avoid going over the deadline. Wayne knows that lying and falsifying information is wrong, and the software is in its current state could be dangerous. Deborah, on the other hand, is thinking in the well-being of the company, knowing that going over the deadline could lead to a financial disaster, ending with thousands of jobs lost. Regardless of knowing that the decision was wrong, Wayne decided to sign off the software. Fortunately, the software was accepted, the bug didn't create any issues, and no one found about it. The program was later patched successfully, the company didn't lose any jobs, and the platform even gained success, which generated more jobs. So the question is, the action by Wayne Davidson, is it ethical? This case is interesting because the result is a win for both parties. Nobody found about it, the program was patched, the company didn't lose funds. So it may seem like that's why it's called an ethical dilemma. The line is really blurry. So we can argue for both sides. On the one side, Wayne Davidson might have thought about the fact that the company would go to bankrupt and many of his coworkers would have lost their jobs. In the other side, lying about testing in a software which is in charge of air traffic control system, knowing that there's a chance that it could be dangerous, it's highly unethical. If there's some accident, like if some airplane for some reason the software loses track of this airplane and something happens, many lives could be lost due to an unethical decision. So, in the end, in my opinion, hiding bugs is still unethical, although the line seems a little bit blurry for both cases. So, what's your opinion on the topic? Do you think it's ethical or it's not ethical? Anyway, with that, I'm going to end this presentation. Thanks, guys, for watching, and have a good day.